Welcome to the Spiritual Principles Made Practical podcast. I'm your host, Scott Friedman, and today we're going to be talking about losing time's grip on us. Because what happens, of course, is that as we grow, right, we accept what's true more and more. So many of the things that get talked about as part of spirituality and mysticism, like the present moment being all that ever exists and stuff, becomes more relatable and practical in our life and our decisions and so forth, as we accept more and more of what's true. And for me, I'm grateful to be experiencing time losing more and more of its grip on me. And in specific, one of the things that I'm increasingly just sort of naturally, organically aware of is that when I'm thinking about the past or the future, I'm having the thought of like, oh, I'm in the present moment thinking about the idea, the concept, the thought of past and present, but I'm thinking about it in the present moment because that's the only moment that exists. And that way is the only way I've been able to reconcile making sense of the fact that past and future don't really exist except in the present moment. And when I investigate that, it makes perfect sense to me because if I'm not paying attention to something, it might as well not exist. And in fact, it doesn't exist because it's our attention that creates its existence, right? The scope of what our mind creates is pretty much everything. I mean, the only things outside of it are being and will. But other than being and will, everything that exists is created by our mind. So our mind creates the world, it creates politics, it creates health, it creates relationships, it creates other people in our life. And the more that we, accept what's true, the more that we identify and relate to the fact that uh, time is almost all powerful. And like I say, other than being and will, as far as I'm concerned, time creates our mind creates everything. And that includes time. Because without our mind, time doesn't exist. Not for me anyway. And so it's all very helpful and stuff, and it's freeing because one of the aspects of that is that if we change our mind in this instant, then our life instantly changes. And I have examples of that in my life. Sometimes I like to talk about the time when I was a freshman at Berkeley, and everybody it seemed was taking drugs. And so I went to a buddy of mine on my floor in the dorm, who had guided a lot of people through LSD trips, and I said I want to try acid. And this guy did it all the time. He guided people through it all the time. He was really adept at it, and I liked him and I trusted him, which is why I asked him. And he said, Scott, it's not for you. Don't do it. And this is a guy that guided all kinds of people, right? But the care in his voice really resonated with me, and it really struck me, and my desire to take drugs ended in that instant and has never come back. I mean, it's now been, geez, more than 50 years ago that happened. And I've never had a desire to take drugs ever since. And I was offered, um, and a friend of mine offered me fairly recently an opportunity to do microdosing, of mushrooms, I guess, or whatever it was, psilocybin, whatever it was. And I said, no, no, it's that's not for me, and he said, and he didn't push me. He said, okay, he said, okay, fine, we're still friends. That's not an issue. But but that one comment, right? It changed my mind, and it changed my thinking, and it changed my life. And yeah, it's true that, I'm reaching back into the past now, and but I'm doing that reaching back into the past in the present moment. And so but just having that idea that the entire world can change in an instant because we manufacture it with our mind. And as soon as we change our mind, the entire world, our entire experience of the world changes, is really freeing, right? Because it's like, oh, well, uh, it creates a level of possibility that wasn't there before. Because, usually we think, oh, well, you know, one step at a time, and by the inch it's a cinch, and by the yard it's hard, and this whole idea of progressive steps and stuff, and that and that's true as long as we believe it's true, right? But we don't have to believe it's true, and I think that the more that we, at least in my experience, the more that I accept what's true, the more I realize that I don't really need to be bound by the historical perspectives on time that I've embraced. That I can change my mind about time and experience it differently. And that's one of the things that I find naturally happening. And one of the aspects of spiritual growth that I think is important to recognize is that uh, we need to accept what's true at deeper and deeper levels to keep going, right? So if we hang on, if in fact, let's just postulate this. If in fact time is created by the mind, and the mind can uh, uncreate it, so to speak, or not create it in the current instant if it wants to, and it's that choice, and if we change our mind, we change our world. Well, if that's true, then denying that truth creates stress and inhibits spiritual growth, because spiritual growth is the acceptance of what's true. So if that's true and we fight against it, then we're fighting against spiritual growth and we're creating stress. And we need to be open all the time if we want to continue to grow spiritually. We need to be open all the time to reinvestigating our past assumptions and seeing whether or not we believe that those past assumptions are actually accurate, right? Because I believed all kinds of things that weren't accurate. I mean, I remember the time when I realized that what I called the American plan was not true, and that, as I understood the American plan, it was, follow all the rules, don't get in trouble, get a good degree from a major university, and get a good job with a big company, and you'd be happy. Well, I did all those things, except I wasn't happy, So it's like, okay, you know what I believed was wrong, and now I need to look and find out what's right, so that I can have a life that I'm happy about and happy with, and so we've got to always be willing to investigate the validity of our thinking, because so often our thinking is just wrong. I mean, how many people have thought that money would solve all their problems, and then when they got a lot of money, they found out, it didn't solve all their problems, I mean, it solved some of them, and it helped, but it didn't solve all our problems, because money's a tool. It's not a beneficial end in itself. Money doesn't create happiness. It creates opportunity. It can be used as a tool in the creation of happiness, right? So you can use it to express our love and care and wisdom and compassion for people. We can use it for that, and that's the proper use of money, and it's valuable, and it should be used for that. But it doesn't make us, people that hoard money, they're not any more secure. Actually, they're less secure than people that have a more healthy understanding of money. Uh, and I always frequently will trot out Howard Hughes as an example of someone who in his day had the most money of anybody in the world, and he was miserable. And I'll bet, that uh, it wasn't necessarily a happy day for, billionaires in our day and age to be getting divorced, right? I mean, I don't know that divorce is ever a pleasant experience. And yet, it's, with all the money they have, they're still apparently from an outsider, not experiencing the joy of a happy marriage. And so, money didn't buy him that. So money's good. Money's a great tool. A cell phone is a great tool. An automobile is a great tool. A computer is a great tool, but it's not an end in itself. They're tools. End in itself is being present, being happy, living in joy, living in the present moment. Those are ends in themselves. Those are um, experiences that are valuable. And one of the things that makes them valuable is that they exist in the present moment, and they can't be destroyed. That we have complete dominion over those experiences, and those experiences, in fact, are part of who we are. And so it's recognizing part of who we are, and as such, it can't really be taken away from us. We can choose to ignore it and not experience it, but it can't be taken away from us. And anything real and valuable is part of us. Our consciousness is part of us. It can't be taken away from us. And so, understanding these things, uh, between differentiating between those things that can come and go, like money and material objects, and those things that are eternal, like kindness and love and joy and compassion and wisdom. They can't be taken away from us. So that's all part of understanding that, um, what the mind creates and what the mind just tries to observe, right? So the mind will observe the experience when we come out of the present moment. The mind will experience love and joy and all those things that took place in the present moment, right? And sort of those memories are part of our consciousness that we can dig into and re-experience at any moment in time, right? But money's different, right? Money can come and go. You can say, I had money yesterday, I don't today, or vice versa. I didn't have money yesterday and I do today. But the really valuable things exist outside of time. And so when we're experiencing things that are outside of time, then we're not experiencing time. And it's really helpful, for me at least. It's joyful because it gives me, first of all, it gives me the relaxation that comes with knowing that I'm not bounded by time. I mean, it doesn't, I mean, people say, oh, you're getting older and stuff. It's like, well, but my opportunity to experience joy isn't dying with age. It isn't diminishing with age. My vitality isn't dying and diminishing with age. I mean, I'm still the same light and spirit I ever was. I'm still the same, had that same spark that expressed itself as a child when I came home from elementary school, and I came in and I slammed the door and I said, "Rejoice, I'm home." That same joy that I had then is still there today. Yeah, and so it's because it's not part of time. It's not bounded and subject to time. It's free of time. And the more that we grow, the more we'll experience being free of time. And it's really so uplifting for me, to increasingly be thinking of and aware of the fact that, when I think of the past and the future, I'm doing that in the present moment. And if I wasn't paying attention, if I wasn't thinking of past and future in the present moment, they wouldn't exist, because I'm creating past and future in this moment. And when I start to just naturally and organically have that understanding and that acceptance, oh my God, just the relief that I feel in my body is it's palpable. Oh, oh, thank God I don't have to worry about time anymore. I create it, and it only exists to the extent that I created it. And it's like it's just so freeing. And that's why I'm so happy that I just find myself as an effect of being more and more aware of what time is and is not, that I'm just feeling more and more free. And that's a good thing. Feeling less stress and more free, that's good. So that's what I wanted to share about my celebration, if you will, of being aware of time losing more and more of its grip on me, and from that perspective. So anyway, it's all about accepting what's true. That's my definition of spiritual growth, and I think it's a good one. And I'm going to continue to accept what's true as best I can because it works for me. I get more energy, I get more wisdom, I get more insight, I get more freedom, I get more power. It's just everything is better when I have a more complete and accurate acceptance of what's true. And if I need to change my thinking about time to accommodate that, then I'm right there ready to go. And that's a good thing. So I offer thought coaching if you want to be aware of your thoughts and grow in your capacity to determine which thoughts are true and which thoughts aren't, and which thoughts you want to act on and which thoughts you don't want to act on. I can help with that. If you have a mind to that, you can contact me at scottfriedman40@gmail.com or click on the link that is in the text below this video and you can make an appointment. The initial consultation is free, and it's really a door that you can open to just maximize everything that's good in your life. My books are also available on Amazon. You can find links to them on my website, www.thoughtcoachingbyscott.com. And if you want to share your win-win experiences, that would be great. One of the win-win experiences that almost everybody relates to that's well ingrained in our culture is the one where people say, you know what, if you're not feeling good, go help somebody else and you'll both feel better. That's win-win in action. And that's been part of our culture. That idea, that concept has been part of our culture for a long time. And like so many things, it is um, a example of win-win thinking but we haven't thought of it as win-win thinking, but when we think of it as win-win thinking, then we can think of other things that are win-win thinking that uplift everybody. And then we can participate in them and further have conscious control over the enrichment of our life. So if that's something that you want to share, a win-win solution that you implemented in your life that enriched your life and the lives of others, contact me at the same email address, and we'll record a podcast and put it out there because example is the most powerful form of leadership, and what we focus on grows. So if we're focused on uplifting activities like win-win, then they grow in our life. And everybody wants to have more upliftment, more joy, more winning in our life. And it's available to us. We just have to focus on that. All right. Be well.